erupting friends, it's Jennifer, and today I have a very exciting video for you. If you saw my previous video where I made clay using shredded paper and flour, you saw me start to create these little volcanoes. And today it is time to make these volcanoes erupt. So before we can get into our volcanic eruption, first we need to talk about what volcanoes are and what causes them to erupt. So I made some drawings and some quick diagrams to talk about what's going on inside of a volcano. So here's our volcano, which is basically a sort of cone-shaped mountain or hill that forms on Earth's crust. Earth's crust refers to the rocky outer layer of the Earth. Underneath the crust is the mantle, which in part is made up of super hot molten rock. If we look inside our volcano, we see at the bottom there's the magma chamber. Magma is just another word for molten rock. So the magma chamber is basically a pool of molten rock. Magma is much hotter than the solid rock around it, which causes more of the solid rock to melt. As more rock melts, the pressure inside the magma chamber grows. This molten rock weighs less than the harder rock around it, so as pressure grows, the magma moves upwards. As the magma moves up, it primarily goes up the main vent to the Earth's surface. The top part of the volcano, at the end of the main vent, is the crater, which is where the magma comes out. A volcano might also have a side vent, which is where some magma escapes out the side of the volcano, and it may also have a sill, where magma moves off the main vent and in between layers of rock, but it does not reach the surface. As the magma erupts out of the volcano, it becomes lava. So when molten rock is under the surface, it is referred to as magma, and when it is on Earth's surface, it is referred to as lava. As lava erupts from a volcano, an ash cloud may form above the volcano, which is made of smoke, ash, and small bits of rock. As the lava flows down the volcano, it will eventually cool and harden and form new rocks. Every time the volcano erupts, a new layer of rock forms, and the volcano grows taller, and it erupts again, more rock forms, and it grows even taller. If we're looking at the two volcanoes that I made, we can assume that the taller one has erupted more times than the smaller volcano. So now that we've learned a little bit about volcanoes, it is time for our eruption. And if you want to do this at home, you need something that can function as a volcano. So if you don't have clay to make your own volcano, you could go outside and build one using sand. You can get a water bottle and create a volcano using that. Anything that has that general cone shape can work as a volcano. And then you also need vinegar and baking soda. And you can also get some red food coloring to add to your vinegar if you want to make it a little more like lava. So you can see that I've got my volcano set up on a plate on top of an old baking sheet because I'm trying to not make too big of a mess today. And now I've already put about a teaspoon of baking soda into the bottom of my volcano, and then I'm going to add a little bit of vinegar on top of that in a moment. So I only need a little bit of these supplies because my volcano is pretty small. If you make a bigger volcano at home using a water bottle or something like that, you will probably want to use more baking soda and a little more vinegar. Now let's talk about what's going on here. When we add vinegar to baking soda, we're causing a chemical reaction. Vinegar and baking soda are our two chemicals, and when they react, they create carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide is what causes all the bubbles to form so that our volcano can erupt. Now I'm wondering if you can think of any other chemical reactions that create carbon dioxide bubbles. And can you remember any other science experiments that maybe you've done where you've seen something like this happen before? For those of you who try this at home, I want you to try different variations with your chemical reaction. What happens if you add more baking soda and keep the vinegar the same? What happens if you add more vinegar and keep the baking soda the same? How can you make your volcano explosion even bigger? What happens if you mix some soap into your vinegar before pouring it in? Make predictions about what you think will happen and then test it out to see the results. You can record your predictions and results on a chart, or you can make your own video of what happens. And if you do that, we would love it if you share it with us by tagging us on Instagram or Facebook at girlsincsb, or sending us an email at info@girlsincsb.org. We would all love to see your volcano creation.